Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Charlie State and Naga Munchetty.
Our headlines today, 11... Good morning, it's Friday the 30th of October. Our top story today, West Yorkshire will be placed under the highest level of coronavirus restrictions from Monday, bringing the total number of people living under Tier 3 rules in England to more than 11 million, around a fifth of the population.
From today, Nottinghamshire also faces the toughest restrictions, which prevent households from mixing both indoors and in some outdoor settings. There's also now a ban on selling alcohol in shops after 9 p.m, and more than a dozen other regions will move into Tier 2 from tomorrow. Our reporter John Donnison has more.
The head of the Unite Union has condemned Jeremy Corbyn's suspension from Labour, warning it risks splitting the party. Len McCluskey called the move a grave injustice.
The former Labour leader was suspended after he refused to accept the findings of a damning report into anti-Semitism in the party. Our political correspondent Chris Mason explains. 4 days to go until the presidential election. Donald Trump and his Democratic rival Joe Biden have been making a final push for votes in Florida.
The state is key in the race to the White House and contributed to the president's win in 2016.
Let's talk to the consumer organisation Which has warned there are big differences in the effectiveness of reusable face covering.
Time now is 10 minutes past 6 Friday morning. We have Matt doing the weather for us this morning, which is very good news. Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, very mild this morning.
Very sad news, didn't we, yesterday, that Bobby Ball died. And we're talking to his sons later today, and Les Dennis, who is his friend as well. But everyone, it's so interesting. Everyone's got a story about someone. We're looking forward to hearing those from his family and friends. But didn't you have one as well?
I'm not upsetting you, but...
Thanks, Matt. We'll hear some more tributes to Bobby Ball a little later on in the programme this morning.
Let's take a look at the front pages, most of them leading with the suspension of the former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn from the party.
Good morning, it's Friday the 30th of October. Our top story today, West Yorkshire will be placed under the highest level of coronavirus restrictions from Monday, bringing the total number of people living under Tier 3 rules in England to more than 11 million, around a fifth of the population.
From today, Nottinghamshire also faces the toughest restrictions, which prevent households from mixing both indoors and in some outdoor settings. There's also now a ban on selling alcohol in shops after 9 p.m.
More than a dozen other regions also move into Tier 2 from tomorrow. Our reporter, John Donnison, has more.
The head of the Unite Union has condemned Jeremy Corbyn's suspension from the Labour Party, warning it risks splitting the party. Len McCluskey called the move a grave injustice.
The former Labour leader was suspended after he refused to accept the findings of a damning report into anti-Semitism in the party. Our political correspondent Chris Mason has this report.
Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Charlie State and Naga Munchetty.
Nottinghamshire has become the latest area in England to move into the highest level of coronavirus restrictions.
So it means by Monday, more than 11 million people will be living in Tier 3 areas. West Yorkshire is joining the very high alert level also. Let's talk to the Foreign Secretary, Dominic.
It's amazing to see what communities, individuals are just doing right now. 7:55 is the time.
He is preparing to perform the salsa tomorrow night. That's Jason Bell we're talking about, and he says training for Strictly Come Dancing has been as mentally and physically exhausting as his days playing in the NFL.
Before we catch up with Jason and his dancing partner Luba, let's take a look back at their American Smooth from last week's show. And yet, you're saying that the stuff that you've been doing during the training with Luba, who's next to you,
quite a gift in terms of a training partner, you know, for you to train, because at least you know you've got someone who's disciplined and understands the impact pressure can have on...
What is it, 8 o'clock now? What time's training start, Luba?
Thank you.
Bye.
It's a big smile, isn't it?
Big wave.
Big smile.
Headlines are coming up, see you soon. I mean, he had longevity, didn't he? He was determined to continue working. He was a comedian and an actor who wanted to evolve and embrace kind of what society, how society was changing and be part of that.
To you on that thought. I'm glad everything's okay with you. So you're nearly out. You're nearly back. I have to say, it looks very cosy. Looks very cosy where you are. The fire burning there. Could be worse.
Thank you. Bye.
What a lovely presents first thing in the morning, Tyler is.
I know.
How lovely. It's 25 minutes past 8. 8 months since it was first introduced. The job retention scheme, we know it as furlough, comes to an end tomorrow.
During the height of lockdown, nearly a third of the UK workforce was being supported by the project, with the government paying part of people's wages.
Our business correspondent Emma Simpson has been to Crawley to find out how those working at Gatwick Airport and within the travel industry are faring. Hello, you're watching Breakfast. You're with Charlie State and Naga Munchetty.
Just let you know, after breakfast on BBC One is Morning Live with Kim and Gethin.
They're here to tell us more what's on.
8:33 is the time now. A reminder of our main story this morning. Nottinghamshire is the latest area to move into the toughest level of restrictions. From today, households will be banned from meeting both indoors and in some outdoor settings.
There's also a ban on selling alcohol in shops after 9 in the evening. Now, our correspondent Dan Johnson has spent time with some people who are coming to terms with the further limits on their lives.
It's really interesting hearing how people are thinking about what it has been like, what it might be like going forward. I know listening into that, because I've seen her on Zoom right there, is Fern Cotton. Morning to you, Fern. Catch you unawares there. But I was just saying, good morning. I was just saying, you have a podcast, Happy Place. Now, we were just hearing from those people in Nottingham.
It almost always seems to be something that we need to be aware of, but we don't look at when it comes to ourselves. And this moment in time, but do you think perhaps you were in an advantageous position, perhaps? Bye.
8:50 the time right now.
Bobby Ball, he's being remembered for his charm, wit and kindness. Tributes from across the entertainment industry have been pouring in following the sad news about his death yesterday.
His wife Yvonne described him as joyful, full of fun, mischievous as well. We can find out exactly how mischievous he really was with his two sons, Rob. Morning to you. Rob, Darren, welcome.
Hi. Morning.
Well, look, firstly, can I say I'm absolutely delighted that we're able to talk to you.
It is lovely to speak to you, and of course our condolences go to you and the family, because you've lost your dad, and very unexpectedly as well. What I love is the fact, Darren, as soon as we mentioned parents' footsteps, because some parents would be like, this is a really tough industry, it's hard work, you're never at home, don't do it.
Those sorts to us, and of course our condolences.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye. The time now is 8:59. You're watching BBC Breakfast.
Let's take a last look at the main stories this morning. West Yorkshire will be placed under the highest level of coronavirus restrictions from Monday, bringing the total number of people living under Tier 3 rules in England to more than 11 million, around a fifth of the population.
From today, Nottinghamshire also faces the toughest restrictions, which prevent households from mixing both indoors and in some outdoor settings.
There is also now a ban on selling alcohol in shops after 9 p.m. More than a dozen other regions also moved into Tier 2 from tomorrow. Our reporter John Donnison has more.